Facebook has been accused of misleading British lawmakers. The social media giant has been accused of downplaying the risk of user data being shared without their consent. The head of the British Parliament's Media Committee and Conservative lawmaker Damien Collins said that he would ask Facebook chief Mark Zuckerberg or another executive to appear before this committee, which is investigating disinformation and quote-unquote fake news. Collins said that Facebook has consistently understated the risk of data leaks and given misleading answers to the committee. He further says that someone has to take responsibility for this and that it is time Zuckerberg stopped hiding behind his Facebook page.
Well, I'm going to be writing to Mark Zuckerberg asking that either he or another top executive at the company give evidence to the committee to make clear what Facebook knew about this breach of their users' data, why they didn't take action against Cambridge Analytica sooner, and why they've not informed the users whose data was taken. And the reason it's important to us to ask those questions is we asked very similar questions the last time Facebook gave evidence to the committee. They were unable to provide satisfactory answers then, or to follow up with the written information that we required. And people will rightly have concerns about how effective Facebook are at protecting their users from bad actors gaining their data. I don't think Facebook was straight with us. Facebook have known about this data breach for over 2 years. They did nothing to make sure that the data that was taken was destroyed properly as they requested it should be done.
And joining us this evening is Arjun Sinha. He's a lawyer and someone who understands the subject very well. Good evening, Arjun. Thank you for being with us from New Delhi. As one headline described the situation, they said this is Facebook's worst nightmare being linked to muddied elections. And now the British government is questioning Facebook and its understatement of the threat of data leaks. How much legal trouble is Facebook in?
So Facebook's point in this is pretty clear. They're saying that at no point was any data taken from us. What Cambridge Analytica did was they got a third-party vendor to install apps, and these are like quizzes or polls that many of us have done before on Facebook, in which we answer a few questions and then in turn that application takes some data from us. What happened in this case specifically was not only did they take the data of the people who filled in these responses to generate what they called a psychological profile of a person, but it also got data of friends of theirs. And this was sort of within the permission rights that were given by Facebook at that time. So Facebook's point has been clear. They're saying that we've never shared any data. People have developed apps on our platform and pulled data.
So this is then a question of semantics, Arjun. Facebook saying that, but you signed it. How many users do you know who read the fine print and understand what all of this entails when I allow Facebook permission? And most of the times I don't have the choice really. If I want to be on Facebook, I have to agree to a lot of things. So what does that mean?
No, I completely agree, and in fact that's the crux of this matter. What does it mean that when you consent to something? Most people don't even know what they consent to. For example, if you share data with an organization which is providing you services for free, you are never the consumer of that organization. You're the product. That's what they're selling information that they gather from you to actually drive the business that they operate. And that's what's happening in this case. And what is happening is instances like this have happened before. Credit card information has been leaked. It's happened in India as well. But now people are saying the consequences of something like this. We've only seen something has happened, there's been a leak, and then it's come. I mean, it's hushed around, and people say we protected it and we moved around, we move on from it, we implemented better security measures. But now people are seeing that sort of not informing people of what you sign up to, not informing people of the kind of data that you're sharing with third parties has serious real-world consequences. Consequences like people can influence elections, and if it's happening in the US. And if there are third-party vendors that have, Cambridge Analytica has been banned today, the vendor's not been banned, and who knows if that data pool has been replicated? Who even knows, if similar activities have happened in India as well? Like for example, the piece of information that you were sharing just before this. So people need to get serious about what kind of data is being collected. People need to understand who they're sharing it with. The companies who are collecting this data need to sort of clearly inform their consumers, or at least governments, on who, once they collect the data, they're sharing it for a profit. I mean, you have to have profit making has to be a central part of it. But in the absence of transparency, we're going to see more issues like this. We're going to see more concerns.
Sure.
Maybe even bigger implementations, bigger consequences. Maybe they'll come roost at home. I mean, we have a free border, we have free internet.
Absolutely.
activities happening in India.
Arjun, I'm going to request you to stay with us. Let's dwell a bit further on this company that was involved in the so-called election meddling or swaying of votes. Who doesn't want to win an election is the question. It now turns out that Cambridge Analytica may be in talks with political parties not only in India but also in Bangladesh and Sri Lanka to help them map out how to win the general election in these respective countries, all of which are due in the next 2 years. Take a look at what may be happening in your country.
They are said to be behind Donald Trump's unexpected win in the 2016 US elections. Is the company accused of harvesting personal data without the consent of Facebook users now in talks with political parties across South Asia? Indian media reports say Cambridge Analytica's India partner OBI has held preliminary talks with both the Congress and the BJP for a potential collaboration for the 2019 Indian general elections. One media report also says the company had given an opposition party in India a presentation and had chalked out a data-driven strategy to target voters on social media, analyzing online user behavior and connecting the dots across different citizen databases. It seems the company has worked previously with the ruling JDU for the Bihar Assembly elections in 2010. On its website, Cambridge Analytica says its client achieved a landslide victory with over 90% of total seats targeted by CA being won. Not just India, it seems the company is reaching out to top political players in other countries in South Asia in the run-up to key elections in Sri Lanka and Bangladesh. Reports say the company has held talks with former Sri Lankan President Mahinda Rajapaksa, who's making a bid to get re-elected in 2020, and with Bangladesh's ruling Awami League, which is seeking re-election in 2019. If these reports are indeed true, then data could hold the key to crucial elections in India and its neighbourhood, whether voters like it or not. Bureau Report, WION.
So what do companies like Cambridge Analytica do? Every time we do an online search, we perform an online activity, we leave digital traces, digital footprints if you like. And there are so many digital analytics firms out there which collect these online traces to study patterns and preferences and build user profiles. UK-based Cambridge Analytica is one such firm. It happens to be one of the popular data mining companies. It has various high-profile clients, including Donald Trump. The company offers services to businesses and political parties which intend to change audience behavior, influence behavior if you like. It also works for political, government and military institutions across the globe. Cambridge Analytica collects user data from different sources such as Facebook and Twitter to study them to create their profiles which are based on users' interests, preferences and behavioral patterns. This data can then be used to target people with customized messages and advertisements. In the recent case, Cambridge Analytica has been reported to have exploited Facebook data to use millions of people's profiles without authorization. Various reports claim that data analytics and this firm in particular, it obtained Facebook user data starting in 2014, harvested private information from more than 50 million Facebook users in developing techniques to support President Donald Trump's 2016 election campaign.
We're proud of our country.
Arjun, the question I want to ask you, and the question I'm assuming a lot of our viewers in India will want to ask you is this. It's a yes or no question. Can a company like Cambridge Analytica influence voter behavior in India and then to that extent swing an election?
Yes. Short answer is, I mean, if they know what people like, what people don't like. For example, one thing that CA did was they knew, say, supporters of a certain ideology within a party also liked a certain kind of car and a certain kind of food. So they could then, through their database, look for these two correlations and then through some 70 or 80% accuracy, maybe match that maybe these people are also following this kind of ideology and then target that information. So what they simply do is they identify what you like, what you don't like, what are the signals that I can use to identify those kind of people. I mean, what are the other common characteristics that somebody who likes a certain party has? Do they belong to a certain religious group? Do they belong to do they like certain things? Have they gone to certain places? And use that data to sort of help parties or help organizations spend their money more effectively and efficiently. And if it can happen to advertise products,
right.
It can happen to advertise or persuade people in elections as well, definitely.
Right. Arjun Sinha, thanks very much for putting all of this in perspective.